Hello and welcome. Today we'll be looking at less easy examples of linear equations and how to solve them. So let's begin. Okay, 5x is equal to 35. This is a linear equation, isn't it? Okay, so how do we solve this? Remember, the relationship between 5 and x is that of multiplication. So that's you can say 5x is more like 5 times x, isn't it? So there's a multiplication relationship there. So when you have multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division. So for us to be able to separate between x and 5, we need to divide. But what do we divide with? Well, the only thing that we want left on the left hand side of this equation is what? X. So we're going to have to divide by 5 so that we can eliminate the 5. But remember, whatever you do to the left hand side, you also do to the right hand side. So this is going to be 5 over x divided by 5, then 35 divided by 5. So the 5's cancel out on this side, so you have what you have left is x is equal to, and then 5 in 35, 5 goes through 35 7 times, so x is equal to 7. Okay, next one is 3 over 7x is equal to 9. When you have a fractional term, like 3 over 7 or 1 over 2 or whatever, combined with a variable like x or y, the relationship that exists between them is still a form of still multiplication. So 3 over 7 times x is essentially what it is, which you can write as 3x over 7. Okay, so now let's rewrite that. So 3 over 7x therefore becomes 3x over 7. Okay, remember x here is like x over 1, and that's why you can multiply the numerators. 3 times x, it becomes 3x, and the denominator 7 times 1 is 7. So 3 over 7x is the same as 3x over 7. Now we equate that to 9. So now we're going to do something that we have not done before during this lesson. We're going to express 9 also as a fraction. So how can we express 9 as a fraction? Well, that's 9 over 1, isn't it? Okay, so 9 over 1. So we have fractions on both sides of the equation. So the next step after you have done this is to do the process of cross multiplication. Now let's quickly revise that. So when you have a fraction on this side, a over b is equal to c over d. Okay, cross multiplication means you multiply the numerator of one side with the denominator of the other side. In other words, a goes to c and then b goes to c, and it's a multiplication process. So this becomes a times d is equal to c times b, or b times c, whichever one works well for you. Okay, so this becomes ad is equal to what? bc. Okay, now let's try that here. So we are going to cross multiply. So in other words, 7 goes to 9 and 1 goes to 3. So this becomes what? 3x times 1 is equal to 7 times 9. Okay, 3x times 1, well, that is still remains 3x, and then 7 times 9, that becomes 63, isn't it? Okay, now we want to only have x left on the left side of the equation. So we have a relationship of 3 times x. So to remove 3, we need to divide by 3. So we divide this side by 3, we divide the second side also by 3. So the 3's cancel out here. All we have left is x, which is equal to 3 in 6, that is 2. 3 in 3, that is 1. So x is 21. Well, this one looks the same like what we have just done, but it's just expressed differently. Well, we can write 4.5 as an improper fraction. So what is 4.5 as an improper fraction? That's 2 times 4, 8. 8 plus 1, that is 9. So we can write this equation as 6y over 7 is the same as 9 over 2. Okay, Now we can do the process of cross multiplication. So it's going to be what? 2 times 6y is equal to 7 times 9. Okay, well, 2 times 6y, that is 12y, is equal to what? 63. Okay, now to only have the value of y, we need to divide both sides by 12. So divided by 12, divided by 12. So therefore, y becomes 63 divided by 12. We know 63 is what? 9 times 7. Or we can make it smaller, 3 times 3 times 7. And 12 is what? 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, so the one of the 3 cancels out. So what we have in the numerator is 3 times 7, that's 21, divided by 2 times 2, that is 4. So y is equal to 21 over 4. We can reduce this, instead of making an improper fraction, let's make it a mixed fraction. 4 into 21, well, that 4 goes there 5 times, left with 1, 5, 1 over 4. 3y over 5 minus 1 is equal to 4 over 5. If you recall from our lessons on fractions, we talked extensively about how you can subtract whole numbers from fractions. So that's what we're going to do here. What we're going to do is that we're going to convert the whole number into a fraction. And how do you convert whole number into fraction? You just multiply by the opposite denominator. Well, the opposite denominator in this case is 5. So we're going to multiply. Remember, 1 is actually 1 over 1. So 3y over 5 minus, this is 1 over 1. Okay, so to convert it to equivalent fraction, we're going to multiply with the opposite denominator, which is 5 in this case, this value 5. Okay, so 3y over 5 minus 1 times 5 divided by 1 times 5. Well, essentially, we also multiply 3y over 5 by the denominator of the opposite fraction, which is 1 in this case. But we're not going to bother ourselves because we know that 1 times 3y and 1 times 5 is still going to be 3y over 5. But keep that in mind, okay? Is equal to 4 over 5. Wait a minute, whatever you do on this side, don't you do on the other side? Not yet. Because we're just trying to find the difference between 1 and 3y over 5. Okay, so what this becomes, what? 3y minus 5 divided by 5, since both of them have the same denominator now, is equal to 4 over 5. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Well, now we're going to cross multiply just like we've always done. So we can write this now. Remember, 5 goes to the 3y minus 5, and then 5 and 4 are multiplied together. So this becomes 5. Put the 3y minus 5 in the bracket because they're together. You want 5 to affect both of them. So 3y minus 5, okay, is equal to 4 times 5. That gives us 20. Okay, so 5 times 3y, that's 15y. 5 times negative 5, that's 25, is equal to 20. Okay, so 15y, to eliminate 25, so we need to eliminate 25 to take it to the right hand side. So to do that, we need to add 25 to both sides of the equation. So we add 25 to both sides. So this leaves us with 15y is equal to what? 20 plus 25, which gives us 45. Okay, so now we can find y. How do we find y? We divide 15y by 15, then we can obtain y. But remember, whatever you do to the right hand side, to the left, you also do to the right. So divided by 15 divided by 15. So y is equal to 45 divided by 15 is 3. Y is equal to 3. 2x minus 5 divided by 4 plus 2x is equal to 5. Well, this looks like the example that we just did. You want to pause the video and try your hands on this. Okay, now that you have done that, let's go ahead and solve it together. So there's a denominator of 4, so we're trying to use, remember, 2x is the same as 2x over 1. So now we convert I want to make them like fractions so that they have the same denominator. So we multiply with the opposite denominator. So 2x minus 5 over 4, you multiply by 1. 2x over 1, you multiply by 4. So, but we're not going to bother ourselves multiplying by 1 because we know it's going to be the same. But I don't want you to forget that step. Okay, so that's 2x minus 5 over 4 plus 2x multiplied by 4 over 1 multiplied by 4 is equal to 5. Okay, so now this becomes 2x minus 5 plus 2x plus 8x rather, plus 8x, because 2x times 4 is 8x, divided by 4 is equal to 5. Remember, 5 here is 5 over 1. Okay, so 2x plus 8x, that gives us 10x minus 5 over 4 is equal to 5 over 1. So now we cross multiply. Okay, so 1 goes to 10x minus 5, while 4 goes to 5. So that's 10x minus 5 will be equal to 4 times 5, that is 20. Okay, so 10x minus 5 is equal to 20. So to eliminate 5, we need to add 5, and then we need to add 5 to the other side. So what we have is 10x is equal to 25. Okay, so now to find the value of x, we divide 10x by 10, and then we also divide 25 by 10. So 10 by 10, the 10's cancel out, so what we have is x is equal to what? 25 over 10. So 5 in 10 is 2, 5 in 25 is 5, so that leaves us with 5 over 2. We can write this as a mixed fraction, 2, 1 over 2, or 2.5. So you don't want to forget, when you have a multiplication relationship between two factors, to eliminate one of the factors, you apply the process of division. So if you have 2a and you want to only have a left, so you're going to divide by the other value. Here is the coefficient of 2, so you divide by 2. So also, we also introduced to you the concept of cross multiplying. Take note that when you have a whole number written, let's say like 5, that whole number can be expressed as a fraction, as 5 over 1, or 2, 2 over 1, 1, 1 over 1, and so on. And also we reminded you about addition and subtraction when you are working with fractions. And lastly, we talked about the principle of equivalent fraction that we talked about in the fraction section. It's very, very handy when you are working with algebraic fractions. That's it on linear equations part 4. Thank you for watching.